I don't need to see you guys, but it's important that you see me. So I've set up my mat and everything that I have here so you can see me and hear me clearly. What you're gonna do is I want you to make sure you have a couple of the props that we need. So you're gonna need 2 pillows to act as blocks. We're gonna do a couple of standing postures. You need these to act as blocks. And you'll also need a shirt or a towel or something to act as a strap. We'll get going in about 2 minutes. Welcome, everybody. All right, now the people are coming in. Excellent. Welcome, Michael. Welcome, Leslie. Welcome, Helen. Hello, Lauren. Excellent. Welcome, Annika. How are you? Oh, Suzanne's coming in. All right, now all the people are coming. I like this.
That's the president of the DC Psychological Association's with us.
Who is?
Susan Stafford.
Oh, wow. Okay. All
yeah.
right.
We got royalty here.
Christina, you got to do something with that camera, man. I feel like I'm in Apocalypse Now.
Sorry.
No. All right, like I just mentioned to everybody, when you come in, make sure you can hear me. If you can't, give me a note onto the sidebar on the chat menu. You can leave your cameras off. That's totally okay. Just make sure you can see me when we go through all this. If you just came on, you'll need a couple of pillows, a couple of couch pillows will help to act as blocks, and you'll need a strap or a towel to act as a strap. All right, Victoria, you want to say anything? You got any words for us or anything?
I just want to thank everybody for coming. We are kind of one of the missions of the DC Psychological Association is to provide mental health services and support services to the community, especially now in such a challenging time where mental health services are hard to access. So we are kind of trying to provide wellness and educational services, and we are just so thankful that Chris has volunteered his time and his expertise to give back to the community. We are so thankful for you and this class that you're going to give us. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Victoria. Thank you for giving me the option to be here. I am super happy to be here. I have, well, I'm really happy that for all the work that you all do. I myself have been like I was just telling earlier, Victoria, I've had the same therapist now for 18 years. I go see him every month, and it is one of the things that helps keep me very stable and helps me feel safe. And so I really appreciate all the good work that you all are doing. Let's get started. My name is Chris Parkison. I'm the group fitness manager at Vita Fitness at the Navy Yard location. I am a yoga teacher. I'm a cycle instructor, group fitness instructor. I work at Sweatbox. I do all the things really, Pilates as well. The focus though of my really life has been yoga, and the benefits of what yoga has done for me since I started practicing about 8 years ago have been enormous and life-changing. I'm really happy to be here and teaching. What we're going to do is you're going to start laying on your back, actually. We call this pose Shavasana. And we'll come back to this pose at the end of class. So I want you to lay down on your back here. And this Shavasana is going to be a little bit different for those of you who maybe have taken yoga before and are used to this pose sort of being a, shall we say, a relaxed pose where you don't do anything. And I want this Shavasana that we're doing now to be all about engaging muscles in your body and see if we can stabilize the joints of our body. And there's this kind of misperception that yoga is all about stretching muscles, and certainly that's a great deal of it. But a really intelligent yoga practice is going to be about developing range of motion. So that is not only flexibility, but also strength, and especially the way that muscles move bones in joints. And joints, of course, connect bones together, and the muscles are what move the bones. And so what we want to be able to do is not only just stretch muscles, because it feels good, but also be able to get range of motion. And that's going to help us be healthy in the long run. So we want you to start here by bringing your feet hip distance apart, not the outsides of your hips, but where your aces are. And that's your anterior superior iliac spine. For those of you who haven't been to medical school in a while, or excuse me, haven't been to your training programs in a while, you're gonna just put your hands on the bony parts of your hips right in front of you, right above your thigh bones. Those are your aces. Draw a line through the top of your knees down through the bottom of your heels here. And then I want you to flex the toes back towards your shins. And maybe if you can, spread your toes wide. Root your heels down onto the ground here, at the backs of your heels here. And you should feel your knee joints extending. If you tend to hyperextend your knees, don't do that. What we want to be able to do is use the thigh muscles, right? The thigh muscles are the things that extend the knee joint. Really firm the thigh muscles, really press through the heels. That's going to activate the front part of your legs. When we activate the thigh muscles and the front part of the shin, we start to stretch the calf muscles and the hamstring muscles. So we use muscles to stretch muscles in my yoga class. Now keep your sacrum, that's the triangular shaped bone at the base of your spine, flat on the ground. Your tailbone is still going to curl upward slightly, and that's because that's what it normally does. And we call this a neutral pelvis. Keep your lower back from imprinting on the floor. So you want a neutral spine here as well. And so you want to maintain the curve from your cervical spine into your thoracic spine, into your lumbar spine. But also firm your abdominals at the same time. And those of you who let your legs go, I want your legs to be firm once more. Rotate the palms up towards the ceiling so the backs of your arms are pressed down into the earth. The backs of the shoulders are pressed down into the earth. And what we've done here is we've not let gravity press us into the earth. We've actively used our muscles to press us down to the earth. And that has added stabilization to every joint in our body. And it's important now to start breathing and maintaining the same strength that you have without holding your breath or having to huff and puff. So we want to be able to have stability and strength without being rigid. And that's another big difference, right? Strength and range of motion does not mean we want to be rigid. It means we want to be able to move and have ease and steadiness, as we say in yoga, sthira and sukha. We're going to add some breathing to this posture. So take an inhale slowly through your nose. Pull the air all the way down to a spot beneath your belly button. Let your belly extend, but don't arch your back. And then when you exhale, pull the air all the way up from the belly into the chest, into the back of the throat, and then out through your mouth in a slow exhale. And do that on your own. Your inhale is nice and slow. Let your belly really fill up with air. And then exhaling slowly out the mouth, not in a whoosh. And your exhale may be even longer than your inhale. And this time when you do your inhale, glue your sacrum to the floor. And when you exhale, see if you can get your lowest ribs to melt together without imprinting your lower back into the earth. That is spinal stabilization. Do that 2 more times. Slow inhale. We call this 3-part or diaphragmatic breathing, and exhaling. And this is starting to turn on our parasympathetic nervous system. And that's the rest and digest part of our central nervous system that tells our body to relieve tension that can be built up by the sympathetic nervous system. the flight or the fright response, right, which sends all kinds of endorphins and chemicals into your body, right, to get you ready and to tense you up to use your muscles explosively. We want to get out of that part of your central nervous system and into the parasympathetic. Now bring your arms up over your head. Try not to let your back arch. You got to use shoulder muscles for this, right? Because if you just let your back arch, your arms will flop down to the ground. But if you pull your belly button toward your spine and you brace your core, then you got to really reach the arms behind you. The arms have to do the work here to open up the chest muscles and the shoulder muscles. And that's important too, because if you just let your back arch here, your shoulder and chest muscles won't get any more open. But if you actually use the backs of the arms, they will. Now, take an inhale. When you exhale, cactus the arms down by your sides. Pull the elbows just to shoulder height. Firm your abdominals here. You'll notice the backs of the shoulders start to work a little more. Inhale, reach the arms up over the head, but don't arch the back. Keep pressing through the heels. Hope your thighs are still firm. Exhale, cactus the arms down by your sides. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach up over your head without arching your back. Exhale, cactus the arms down by your sides. Glue the backs of the arms to the floor. 1 more time. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, cactus the arms. Beautiful. Now bring your arms down by your sides. Now let the legs be heavy and the arms be heavy. Woo! Man, that was hard work. We just laid on our back the whole time. What's with this fucking yoga stuff, man? Whew. All right. Bring your right knee into your chest. Keep your left leg extended out. We're just going to add a little spinal twist here. And so you're going to place your left hand on outside of your right knee. Bring your right leg across your body. And then try to keep your right knee in line with your right hip. Don't let it go any lower. Reach your right arm out like an airplane, and then bring your gaze past your right hand here. Now the goal here is not going to be to see if we can pull our right knee down towards the floor. The goal is going to be to see if we can pull our belly button towards our spine and squeeze our thighs towards one another. And that will release the lower back and strengthen abdominal muscles and inner thigh muscles. To help, we add a little breathing. Inhale slow. And when you exhale, squeeze your thighs towards one another, firm your abdominals. Don't let your right shoulder lift off the ground. 2 more times. Inhaling. Exhaling, squeezing thighs together, bracing core, keep shoulder on the ground. 1 more time, inhale slow. Exhale. And then bring the right knee back up, lay on your back. Extend your right leg out in front of you. Pull your left knee into your chest, glue the right heel to the floor here. And you're going to take the right hand, put it on the left knee, pull the left knee across your body, bring your left arm out like an airplane, and as far as you go is as far as you go. Trick here is going to be to use the core muscles. Take an inhale, gaze past your left hand. Exhale, squeeze thighs towards one another, brace your core. Inhale, release slightly. Exhale, squeeze thigh muscles together, firm the abdominals. Reach the left arm out to the side here to increase the amount of stretch in your lower back. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Actively use the muscles. Don't let gravity do the work here. And 1 more time. Inhale. And then exhale. Good. And then bring the left knee back up. Bring both feet to the floor, and then bring your knees into your chest. And now I do want you to tuck your pelvis a little bit as you draw your knees into your chest. Especially those of us who have tight lower backs, sometimes this can feel really good to round the spine this way. And then rock forwards and backwards and come into a seated position. Come all the way up. And sitting nice and tall here if we can. Cross your legs. You're going to sit crisscross applesauce here, what we call Sukhasana. And then bring your hands just behind your actual hips. And we're going to work to see if we can find a straight, long spine. So we're going to take the kyphotic curve out of our thoracic spine and try to make it long. So it comes in line with the curves of your lumbar spine and your cervical spine. So fingertips on the floor, root down through your butt bones, lift your collarbones up towards the sky, but firm your abdominals so the lower back doesn't arch too much. And lifting the collarbones up, well, that's what gets the upper back to extend, the thoracic spine to extend. Using the fingertips on the ground to give you the energy to press up through the collarbones. And then open the chest, spread the collarbones nice and wide. Try to create space between your lowest rib and your belly button here. And this is about as long a spine as you can get. You're using so many back muscles here. Try not to lean backwards though. Try to keep sitting nice and tall. And just feel how awesome and sweet the back muscles can be when they're really, really, right, stabilized. And think about how many times during the day we don't use these muscles because we sit in chairs and our back is rounded. And your back should just be singing right now with appreciation for being able to work. Because when we round our spines, what happens is the back muscles get overstretched and they get frozen into place and they become weak. And after a long day of work, your body, your brain misinterprets all this as tightness. And that is tight, but the worst thing you could do after a long day of work is then stretch those muscles and so that they become weaker. So after a long day of work, when you've been rounding your spine, you really need to activate the muscles, not stretch them. It's counterintuitive, but that's kind of the strange thing about your body, and it doesn't really respond to logic, right? It responds to biology and science. And then release your back bend here. Whew, that's work too. Should be sitting a little taller here. Your muscles are kicked in your upper back, your lower back, and your abdominals. Place your right hand on top of your left knee. Bring the left hand to the base of your spine. We're going to add a twist here. Like we did on the floor, we're going to try and use the ab muscles, and more specifically the core muscles. Core muscles are all the muscles from beneath your breastbone to the tops of your knees, actually. So I want you to take an inhale. When you exhale, try to pull your chest over towards the left side of your body, not using the right hand, using the core muscles. And then release slightly, take an inhale. Remember, we don't want to squeeze so hard we have to hold our breath or huff and puff. Exhale, twist slightly. And when you do this, you should be able to bring your arms out like an airplane, and your twist would be just the same. The hand is just there to guide your abs, to tell them where to go. Inhale, slightly come back to center, and we do that one more time. Exhale, twist over, pull belly button towards spine, lift through the crown of your head. Back hand gives you a little help with that. And then inhale, come back to center. Let your arms go forward here, and let your chin fall down toward your chest. Let your back round really for the first time today. You should feel all those upper back muscles, lower back muscles that we just activated stretching. Firm your abdominals slightly. Remember, every time you firm your abdominals, you actively actually stretch your lower back. And walk your hands back up onto your knees. Sit tall. Bring the left hand across your body. Put on the right knee. Bring the right hand behind you. Fingertips on the floor. Try not to lean backwards. Try to sit as tall as you can. 3 inhales, 3 exhales. Nice and slow on the inhale. Exhaling nice and slow. Root down through the left butt cheek. Don't let the left butt cheek come up. Inhale, lengthen as you press down through the right fingertips. Exhale as you twist slowly. Remember, hand is just there to guide the abs, not actually do the work for the abs. One more time. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale as you twist. Inhale, come back to center. And then from here, I want you to walk yourself into a tabletop position. So that your hands are underneath your knees, or hands are underneath your shoulders, and your knees are underneath your hips. So your hands are going to be a little bit wider than your knees here. And then today, tuck your toes under. Yeah. And real gently, walk the hands back towards your knees here. And just press a little bit into the toes behind you. So you open up all the muscles in the balls of your feet. Make those pads directly underneath the toes here. Try to keep the heels from flaring out to the side. If it feels okay, now you can just bring your hands up onto your thighs. sit your butt back down onto your heels. Well, that's pretty deep for a lot of us. So you can stay right here on the hands and get plenty of stretch for that. Ooh, that's it. Slow inhales, slow exhales the whole time. If you need to, inhale into the count of 5 and exhale into the count of 5. Now walk your hands back forwards, let your toes untuck. Extend your left leg back behind you, spin your left heel to the ground, kickstand your right foot so you have some support. You're gonna come up into what we call gate pose. So you're gonna come up onto the right knee and the left foot extended behind you. You're gonna reach your right arm up towards the sky. See if you can maintain a nice long line from the right knee all the way up to the right fingertips. Grab the right wrist, reach up towards the ceiling. Let your shoulders actively elevate up towards the ceiling. The action of letting the shoulders elevate are what stretches the muscles that connect the arm bone to your lower back and your latissimus dorsi muscles. Grab the right wrist and then a little lean over towards the left side of your body. Now the hard part, get the arms to come behind you slightly without letting your lowest ribs flare out. So don't arch your back to get the arms behind you. Use the arm muscles to get your arms behind you. Take an inhale. When you exhale, slightly lean to the left. Press down through the right knee. That stretches every muscle from the right knee up towards your right armpit. 2 more. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, a little lean over towards the left. Inhale, back up. 1 more time. Exhale, little lean over towards the left. Inhale, come back up. Breathe free. Bring your hands down to the ground. You're gonna do the opposite side. Extend the right leg straight back. Spin the right heel to the ground. Kickstand the left foot. You're gonna come up in a gate pose on the opposite side. Really set it up. Left knee is right underneath the ACES, right? Anterior superior iliac spine. Right down forwards. Reach the left arm up towards the sky. Grab left wrist with right hand. Let shoulders elevate here. Find your balance. Bring the arm bones behind you. Let the lowest ribs flare out. Slow inhale here. Exhale, just a little lean over towards the right. You got to use your oblique muscles. Those are the muscles in the side of your body between your ribs and your hips. Inhale, come back up. 2 more times. Exhale, lean a little bit over towards the right. And 1 more. Inhale, back up. And exhale, lean a little bit over. Come back up. Bring both hands down to the ground. Breathe free. Once you get down to the ground, I want you to lower all the way down to the earth. I want you to take your towel that you have, or your strap, or your t-shirt like I have, and put it in between your hands. You could also interlace your fingers here, right, if you wanted to do that. Legs are in line with hip bones, and then just lift everything up into the air. Pull your shoulder blades slightly together. Doesn't matter how high you go. Little tuck to the pelvis here. Reach back through your toes. Reach through the crown of your head. This is to remind you that the energy we need has to go laterally. You got to use every muscle in the back of your body to stretch every muscle in the front of your body. 2 more breaths. Deep inhale here. Exhale, lower everything down to the ground. Release the towel, set it off to the side. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press into tabletop. Bring your feet together behind you. Bring your knees a little wider than your hips. Press yourself back to child's pose here. And reach your arms out in front of you. Now see if you can do the same thing with your spine that we did when we were sitting in crisscross applesauce or Sukhasana. Walking your arms forward, bringing your collarbones forward, firming your abdominals, and taking the round out of your thoracic spine, where the ribs meet the spine. You should still be able to breathe real slowly down into your belly on your inhales. And nice slow exhales out through your mouth. One more round of breathing. Yeah. And then come back up in a tabletop here. I'm gonna do a couple of standing postures. Just real slow, real easy. Tuck the toes underneath you behind you, and you press up and back to a pose we call down dog. We won't be here for very long. But I want you to pedal your feet back and forth, lifting one heel and then pressing the opposite heel down to the earth. And that will help stretch the calf muscles. You have to engage the calf muscles as you lift the heel, right? So you're gonna wanna use the muscle and then stretch the muscle. And that's how we pump blood and fluid into the muscles and make them a little bit more malleable. So it doesn't feel like a strain when we stretch them. And then just walk your feet up to your hands. Come all the way up to a standing position. Bring your gaze forward, take a deep inhale. And when you exhale, let it out of your mouth. What you do here is, if there's a wall by you, use the wall. If you have blocks or pillows, you can use blocks or pillows. And we're gonna come into this pose we call pyramid. And so if you have a wall, that's probably the best thing to do. You're gonna step your left leg back behind you about halfway. Walk your right foot out to the side 3 inches. Get your left big toes to point at a 45-degree angle or about towards the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Bring your hands onto your hips. Now, if you have a wall, what you're gonna do is you're gonna hinge from the hips, don't round your lower back. Remember, we wanna keep that spine long here. Hinge from the hips, bring your fingertips onto the wall. These fingertips here will remind you to shift the right hip back, pull the left hip forward, and use the hip flexor muscles to bring the chest down towards the knee. If you don't have a wall, what you're gonna do is bring the hands to the hips, hinge forwards, and reach your arms down towards the earth. Or place your hands on the pillows that I had y'all get. And this is called pyramid pose. And the goal here is to stretch the hamstring mostly on the right leg. If you have the hands on the pillows, just keep pressing the hands down, but if you notice you're stretching your lower back more than stretching your hamstring, you know you're rounding your lower back here and not hinging enough from the hips. You can take a little step back, of course, if you want to add a little bit more to this. And here's one of the keys to this posture. You got to keep squeezing your thighs inwards towards each other to help the abs stay firm. If your fingertips are on the wall, you can walk the fingertips down the wall here. We want to keep the spine long in a straight line and hinge from the hips because the hamstring muscle originates right beneath your butt, right where the hip is, and it ends right beneath the knee. So not only does the knee have to be straight, but the hip has to hinge. If we can't get the hip to hinge, we can't stretch the entire hamstring muscle. You're gonna take 3 more breaths here. Keep pressing down through the big toe on your right foot. Don't let it roll, your right foot roll out to the side. That's it. And if your hands are on the wall, walk your hands back up the wall. If your hands are on the pillows, set the pillows off to the side. Bring your hands to your hips and come back up. And there we go. Spine has not changed at all. It's just been from the hips. Step to the top of your mat. I'm going to step the left leg back this time. About a half step. Sorry, the right foot back, excuse me. Right big toe pointing towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. We're going to go into this pyramid pose the same way. Slowly, easily, so we don't shock the body and tense the body up. Because we've done all this great breathing so far, we want to keep that parasympathetic nervous system turned on. Hands come to hips. And then if you're in front of the wall, hands are just going to come down to the wall. Fingertips on the wall to remind you to send the hips backwards and to extend the spine without the wall. Hands come to hips. You reach the hands forward, down towards the floor. And then hands maybe come down onto the pillows. You have the pillows by your left foot. Shifting the right hip back, bringing the right hip forwards. Think about reaching the belly button down to the big toe instead of reaching your head towards your knee. And that way we keep the back extensor muscles turned on and the hip flexor muscles turned on. And we stop the compression of the discs in our spine that gravity does to us all day long. The compression that happens when your spine is in a C curve, when you sit in a chair and you're not sitting upright. That compression in your spine that can lead to bulging discs that are no fun, let me tell you. 3 more sweet breaths here. Don't forget to pull the thighs towards each other. Press down through the left big toe. 2 breaths. One more. Good. Make your way back up with control, off the wall or off the pillows. Take a step up to the top of your mat. Reach your arms up over your head. Interlace your fingers right above your head. Press your palms up towards the ceiling. Press down through your heels. Make space between your lowest rib and your belly button, but don't let the lowest ribs flare out. And then dive your hands down towards the ground. Bend your knees if you need to. Fingertips on the floor here. And then I want you to press the fingertips into the floor as you lift your hips. Your knees can stay bent. And then pull your belly button toward your spine to stretch your lower back, firming the abdominals, and strengthen the abdominals. Take a slow inhale, bend the knees slightly. Exhale, slowly lift the hips, firm the abdominals, let your head become heavy. One more time. Inhale, bend the knees. And then exhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips, head becomes heavy. And then breathe 3. Bend the knees, step 1 foot back and then the other. And you're back into a tabletop position. From your tabletop position, I want you to step back to a plank and lower all the way down to the ground. Now, once you get down to the ground, we're going to do a chest and a shoulder stretch. If you've got any kind of shoulder problems, I'll give you an alternative to this. You're going to reach your left arm out like an airplane. You're going to bend your right knee. Bring your left facial cheek to the mat and step your right foot over your left leg behind you. Walk the right hand to your face here to give that arm some support. If this is too intense for you, come back up. Come to the nearest wall or doorway. Place the left hand on the wall or the doorway, and then rotate your chest the opposite direction. It will do the same exact thing for the pectoral and the shoulder muscles. And then bring the right leg back over, lay on your belly. Bring your right facial cheek to the mat. Extend the right arm. Bend the left knee. Step the left foot up and over the right leg. Walk the left hand toward your face here. And your head is heavy. And if you're standing up, you just use the doorway or the wall, right, for the right hand. So much of the anxiety that's produced within us can actually be coming from ourselves instead of the outside world, or at least that's what yoga teaches. Breathing into your chest
without taking full breaths will trigger the sympathetic nervous system. That's the huffing and puffing that we do when we play sports. The downside is, though, if you do that all day long, it can trigger anxiety in you. Too much in the sympathetic nervous system. Come back over, lay on your belly. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press into a tabletop position. And then from here, I want you to see if you can bring your knees together and then bring your butt down onto your heels. We call this hero pose. Couple ways to modify this. You can take a pillow or two pillows, put them underneath your butt, and sit back this way. Another option, you can just sit on a chair or on your couch, because we're going to do some things with our arms here. I want you to draw your right arm underneath your chin. Bring the left arm underneath the right elbow. Then you're going to bend your elbows and try to reach for the palms of your hands. We call these eagle arms. And this is going to stretch all the muscles we've been using so far in the upper back. And so if you can't grab the hands, it's fine. Just grab the right shoulder with the left hand. And then a little bit around in the upper back forwards. And that'll stretch every muscle from the middle of your spine to the outside of the right shoulder. Now keep your breathing nice and slow. You'll notice the deeper you breathe, the more the right shoulder and the back muscles on your right side stretch. And then come back up. Bring your hands down by your sides. We're going to do the other side. Bring the left arm underneath the chin. Bring the right arm underneath that. Give a little bit of pull. And then maybe bend the elbows and reach for the palms of your hands. And sometimes you can't get it. So you just keep your hand, right hand on the left shoulder, and a little round the upper back. Not the lower back, a little round in the upper back here, forwards. And then come back up. Bring your hands down by your sides. Go into tabletop. Cross your legs behind you. Sit nice and tall. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Extend both legs out in front of you. Pull the left foot to the floor. Keep the right heel rooted on the ground. Right toes flex back towards shins. Going to twist over towards the left side of your body. Spine is nice and tall. Now, your left knee is going to want to do this thing, right? Mainly because a lot of us have overdeveloped outside of hips, underdeveloped inside of hips, right? Or we could have, weak external rotators in our hip. What I want you to do is hook the right elbow outside the left thigh, just a little bit. Now, actively squeeze your thighs towards one another, pull your belly button toward your spine, lift the crown of your head up towards the sky, and that's your twist. The twist happens here. It doesn't happen with the right arm. Inhale, lengthen a little bit, sit taller, flex the toes on the right foot. Exhale, squeeze thighs together. Maybe you look a little further out towards the left shoulder. Don't let that left knee bow out. With the elbow, don't let the left knee bow out by using the left inner thigh. Two more. Inhale. Exhale, twist. One more. Inhale. Exhale, twist. And you're going to come back to center here. Extend the left leg out in front of you. Sit tall. Draw the right foot in. Bring the right hand to the base of your spine. Feet are hip distance apart. Remember ACEs. Flex left toes back towards shin. Right inner thigh turned on. Left elbow goes outside right knee or right thigh. Sit tall. Big inhale. Exhale. Squeeze thighs towards one another. pull left rib cage and right thigh towards one another, not with elbow, but with core muscles. 3 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. 2. 1 more, go in, inhaling. And then exhaling. And then come back to center. Release the right leg out in front of you. Take both your pillows, put them underneath your back. Make sure your head is supported. And you're going to lower down into a supported back bend. Keep your hips on the floor. Bring your arms out like an airplane. And it feels kind of weird here, or it can also feel pretty good since we just use the inner thighs so much. You can come into Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the feet together and the heels together here. And we're going to do one more little thing with our core muscles. So take an inhale. And when you exhale, sink your sacrum to the floor, firm your abdominals. You should feel a nice tension from the belly button down to the tip of the pelvis. It should feel really sweet, not really rigid. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale, firm the abdominals. And 1 more. Inhale. And then exhale. Yeah. Now, let your feet splay out, let your knees splay out. Let your arms just be heavy. And if this feels pretty good, this supported back bend, just stay here for the next 3 minutes. Or you can just remove the pillows and come into Shavasana where we began class, but without engaging any muscles, just letting all of your muscles go slack. Keep breathing, but don't try to control your breath. Observe your breath without making any judgments or comments about your breath. And that's the essence of meditation. Being present and observing without creating a story around sensory input that comes into your brain.
And start to bring some movements back into your bodies by wiggling your toes and fingers. Nodding your head slowly side to side. When you're ready, bend your knees and just roll over to your right side. Reawaken the mind, body, and spirit. And see if you can press yourself up to a seated position. If it feels okay, keep your eyes closed. And sit nice and tall. Bring your hands together at heart center so that your palms touch and your thumbs come to your sternum. Remember, when we leave the mat today, keep exercising the muscles of love and patience, gratitude and compassion, faith and forgiveness. It's just like the muscles of our body. The more we use these things, the stronger they become, and the happier and healthier we all become. Well, some yoga teachers say namaste at the end of class, and its literal translation means the light in me bows to the light in you. It's just an acknowledgement that no matter who we are or where we go, we all radiate a spark of the divine within us. And so let's then practice by bowing together and saying, Namaste.
Namaste.
All right.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was so wonderful and truly restorative. I feel so much more relaxed and loose. And again, just want to thank you for volunteering and sharing your expertise and time with us. You know, DCPA is about mental health, but a lot of mental health is physical health. And in fact, yoga meaning the union of the body and the mind. That's why I thought it was like just so important for us to be able to give this. And so your life's work is more important now than ever because everyone's super stressed and really needing to, you know, stuck at home and stressed. So really needing just to like work with their body and relax their mind. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on, Victoria. I really appreciate it. Be happy to come back anytime if you guys enjoyed it. So just let me know.
And we just want to let people know of the things that are coming up. But thank you so much for joining us and hope to see you all at the next events.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank yous from everybody. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.